Good day, Dr. Scopoletti here. Today I want to talk about fitness. We see people at the gym, especially this time of year, the beginning of the year. Everybody's good intentions in getting to the gym, and then they hurt themselves, and that's the end of that. And until next January, nothing happens. Um, Most people who work out, I mean, I go to gyms, I see people at the gym, and I see people that come in and their warm up consists of swinging their arms around a few times. And the next thing you know, they're training with heavy weights, and they're getting bigger and stronger. Then they get to a point where those joints are imbalanced because you've created a muscle imbalance from the strengthening phase that you've gone through. And you wind up hurting yourself, straining a tendon, straining a capsule or a joint, and you're out of commission for a period of time, and then the cycle repeats itself where you train and then you strain and then you train and then you strain. I see very few people that focus on mobility and on compensation and recovery. That is to say, doing a reasonable mobility workout before your workout, and after your workout, doing some type of recovery compensation work to allow your body to reset and restore the natural tendon gain or length, so that it's not being shortened and tightened after every workout. So what do I mean by mobility and compensation and recovery? Mobility is not stretching. People confuse the two. Mobility is not just a stretch on the muscles. Mobility is actually how well you can move a joint. Doing something where I'm working a joint full its range of motion, that would be a mobility workout. Again, in the neck, just kind of making movements where you're working those joints through all the ranges of motion, getting blood flow through there, restoring the neurologic connections from the brain to those joints are very helpful as we get older. In fact, so much so that the number one thing that we lose with age is our mobility, and right up there with that is strength. And then cardiovascular disease is certainly in there as well, which is something that we see a lot of. It's the number one killer right now. And I think the combatant to that is people go to the gym and they do their Stairmaster for 45 minutes, and there's no studies to suggest that that's really the most beneficial use of your time. And I can make a pretty hard argument that it's probably not beneficial at all. There's several studies to support that now. People who do long extended cardiovascular type work, people like marathon runners, Ironmen, cyclists, this group are the people where you see athletes that have sudden unexpected heart attacks. They're prone to atrial fibrillation. We all talk about exercise, and then the name Jim Fick comes up and says, he had a heart attack. Why do I want to go out and train? Well, if you're going to train long duration cardio, that is a risk factor that you're going to incur. In my world, I think you're far better off focusing on strength. That means lifting weights, doing things to strengthen the muscles. And your cardiovascular does need to be there, but I prefer interval training where you're doing something where your heart rate is up, and then it goes down, and then it goes up, and it goes down, so you get this kind of cyclic elevation and depression of your heart rate. And if you're doing that, you can work much harder and get your cardiovascular training and your strength training into the same time. And this can become so intense that you really don't want to do this more than a few times per week, because the window of recovery is at least 48 hours on this, so you really shouldn't be doing it 2 days in a row. There are exceptions to that, which I'm not going to get into on this discussion. But consider doing interval training. If you're not familiar, you can reach out to me or my office, or you can look online. There's tons of stuff. It's often abbreviated HIT or HIIT for high intensity interval training, and there's lots of different formulas. I think CrossFit made this famous with some of their workout timers, where you do the classic Tabata timer, which is this fellow from Japan, Izu Tabata, that came up with a protocol of 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest, 8 sets, and then you can take a minute off and do it again, and you can do it a third time, a fourth. I've done as many as 6 personally, and that's a really difficult workout, and it's very difficult to recover from. I don't recommend going above 4, especially if you're close to my age, because again, that becomes quite difficult to recover from. So let's talk about recovery. So what does recovery mean? So once you're done with your workout, you should be kind of going through a stretching type of regimen where you're doing type of yoga poses to reset the gain of the muscle groups that you just worked. So if you did a group of muscles that really focused on your flexor muscles, your biceps and whatnot, Then at the end, you want to do some compensation to reset the resting length of those by stretching them in the opposite direction. I tend to gravitate myself to full body functional workouts. I think that they're better for us. A lot of this depends on what your why is to working out, because my why might be very different than your why. I mean, for me, my why for working out is I want to stay fit for my age and be able to continue to come to work every day and do what I need to do. If you're training for a competition of some sort, then your why is going to be different. But make sure that we're doing some type of mobility work, some type of compensation work, so that you're always resetting your tendon gain, so that makes you less likely to suffer a sprain, a strain, a tear, that kind of stuff that will catch up with you over time. We see people all the time that are constantly re-injuring themselves, the shoulder strain, golfer's elbow, tennis elbow, tendonitis of one sort or another, and they just keep getting it back because they keep doing the same thing that brought it on in the first place, and then they go back to training and it's just the round robin of being injured. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say on that. And if you have any questions, you can check my website, you can reach out to me personally, you can reach out to our office. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.